Welcome to this audio-described introduction to Vital Xposure's Showreel. The Showreel will take approximately 5 minutes to listen to and provides an opportunity to meet members of the company, experience short excerpts of the company's work during the rehearsal and development process of their work, and also to hear written comments from audience members, read as their words appear on the screen. On a black screen, the words Vital Xposure appear large, vivid red against a black background, in white, the words Cutting Edge Theatre, Vital Stories. Penelope Freeman, director and actor.
Vital Xposure is one of only a handful of companies that has a disability-led aesthetic. Access for all is at the heart of the work they produce.
Words on the screen read White Pariahs, Quiet Rebels, 2019. Real-life stories of white working-class women who crossed the colour line and fell in love with or married black men. A brown-skinned mixed heritage man faces us, with the text, beautiful show telling important stories really humanely.
White working-class women who married into the Windrush generation are voices from the edge that need capturing, that need listening to, that need celebrating.
A white woman.
This is where I first met Roy and his friends. He's gentle, he's kind.
Cut to an elderly mixed-race couple.
He's very kind. He can be
A bit troublesome sometimes. I wouldn't swap him for the world.
I wouldn't swap him for the world.
On screen, the words great storytelling, so much history that speaks to us today. Julie McNamara, Artistic Director.
I'm passionate about this work because we've got to make changes, and we've got to make changes fast.
White Pariahs, Quiet Rebels, 2020. A young woman, her face in close-up, a BSL interpreter behind her.
Mary Aziz, full name, unlike the others. She'll be the first one to track down tomorrow.
On screen, the title, This Is How It Happens, 2019. Powerful work, rebuilding life and love after sexual harm. In rehearsal, a young, bespectacled man and a young woman face each other. He grins towards her. Director Julie McNamara watches. On screen, the comment, very powerful, intense piece. The same couple, they sit on the floor, leaning into each other, back to back. He faces us, eyes downcast, one hand on his chest. On screen, the audience comment. It provided the insight of the inner world and showed how the trauma was played externally. The words Medicine's Monstrous Daughters, 2019 to 2020. Different women, different times, same system. Two powerful plays inspired by real-life events. Two young white actors, one male and female, rehearse.
One is set 100 years ago plus inside a mental asylum.
Two young black female actors rehearse silently for play number 2 as the camera pans out to show the whole rehearsal room.
And the second one is outside a mental health unit. And that immediately told us something about what has happened over time with how we deal with people with mental health issues.
Behind the title, The Called Commission, 2018, a young black female BSL interpreter faces us, her face anguished as she interprets the words of the unseen female actor.
Leave me to my head. I don't want your clean.
The words of Tanaka Mihishi, poet, performer and writer of This Is How It Happens, appear on screen, above an informal moment in rehearsal shared by the actors and director Julie Mullen. Quote from Tanaka, I am so privileged to have worked with a group so capable of weaving passion and compassion together so seamlessly. On screen, the words of Lisette Orton, Mad Mary in Medicine's Monstrous Daughters appear as she smiles towards us. Her words on the screen, acting was an area of my life I thought I'd never be able to return to, and maybe in mainstream theatre I couldn't. Here there was support to enable me to absolutely go for it and not have to ever apologise for what I needed. Penelope Freeman to us.
Media imposes. We hear it all over TV, this is what we want you to be afraid of, this is what we want you to think is important. And Vital Exposure actually says, we're doing stuff we think that is important and we'd like you to engage in those lives that we think are important.
Now printed audience comments appear on screen. First, every time I see a Vital Exposure show, I'm reminded that the world disables people. They aren't born that way. From the Knitting Circle, 2018. Then it is tackling a very touchy subject, one that needs to be brought out more into the open, from White Pariahs, Quiet Rebels, 2019. There is silence, a lack of narrative in media on this issue of This Is How It Happens, 2019. A quote from Blue Pen. Very grateful for the whole evening. It crystallised lots of thoughts for me around how women and outsiders are hated. I feel inspired to fight somehow. Blue Pen, 2016. Finally, production information appears on screen in white type on a black background. White Pariahs, Quiet Rebels, R&D 2019-2020. Written and directed by Julie McNamara and Hassan Muhammad Ali. R&D in 2019, co-produced with Dervish Productions. R&D in 2020, co-produced with Dervish Productions in partnership with Soul City Arts. Photos by Rahal Shamil and video by Muhammad Ali. This Is How It Happens, R&D 2019. Written and performed by Tanaka Mahishi. Directed by Julie McNamara, with photos by Sophie Mills. Medicine's Monstrous Daughters, production 2019 to 2020. Written by Julie McNamara and Domi Kemi. Directed by Penelope Freeman. The assistant director, Julie McNamara. Supported by ARC, Stockton Arts Centre. Rehearsal photos and footage by Teresa Garrity, TG Film and Photo. Called R&D Commission 2018. Written and developed by Omi Kemi. Directed by Vicky Rayford Sinnott. Footage by Stephen Rudder. Voices from the Knitting Circle, 2018. Directed by Julie McNamara. Film shot, camera operator and editor Zainab Dali. Blue Pen 2016. Written by Julie McNamara. Directed by Shala Kimjontu. Cutting Edge Theatre, Vital Stories appears on the screen. Under it, the website www.vitalexposure.co.uk. You can follow Vital Exposure on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and LinkedIn. A final image, Vital Exposure, again red against a black background. And below it, the funders' logos of City of London and Arts Council England, and the words supported using public funding by Arts Council England. This concludes this audio-described Vital Exposure showreel.